Greetings, lore seekers, and welcome to another episode of the Lost Archives, a Star Wars Legends lore series. This week I'm going to be talking about the TIE AP1 tank, more commonly known as the TIE Mauler. Essentially, this was a Imperial ground assault vehicle produced by Sanfi CNR Technologies. The idea was to give the Empire a light attack vehicle that could make it to objectives really quickly and then deal out significant damage to any ground forces, and in a last-ditch effort blow themselves up to deny the enemy what they had secured. It was part of the twin Twin Iron Engine series, or TIE series as it was known for short. In case you guys didn't know why they were called TIEs, it's because of their twin iron engines. It saw that it had very, very light armour and absolutely no shielding like later tanks like the repulsor tank had, which meant that the enemy could take it out quite quickly. In fact, it's probably for this reason that it saw it being phased out quite early on in the Galactic Civil War, despite being designed for the putting down of local rebel groups and various other projects the Empire was involved in at the time. Now, the Mauler was based around the original TIE Starfighter cockpit, fixed between a pair of treads instead of wings, though it did feature the solar panels of the TIE series. Usually they'd be deployed in groups of 5, as it was found that they could be most effective or at operating as a group, able to get behind enemy lines and deal with their defences quickly before they were managed to bring to bear their more heavier defences. In fact, so good were these Zerg tactics, they would deploy them in even greater numbers in order to end battles before they'd become a real problem for the Empire. It was a favoured tactic of Imperial commanders to deploy, say, 15 of these to an enemy base so they could rush in, overwhelm the enemy before the enemy had really set up their defences. Not to mention, this was a particularly favoured tactic of mine when playing Star Wars Empire at War, or Forces of Corruption, where I would use them to overwhelm the landing zones of the enemy and hold them until I could get a stormtrooper unit in to capture them, and then just depriving the enemy of reinforcements. Though, to be fair, this would be the bulk of my forces that I could deploy on planet at the time, as I would have to deploy at least 4 units of these, which meant I'd only have 2 units of stormtroopers to capture points. They were quite slow moving in that regard. Anyway, back on topic. Pilots of these also found that their rapid fire cannons weren't the only effective capable weapon of the Maulers. Instead, they would find that the treads themselves would be perfect for mowing down swaths of enemy infantry. This is actually where the craft gets the nickname the Mauler from when it mowed down rebel infantry. Now, in times of emergency, they did have the self-destruct function that was an enhanced version that would set the engines to immediate overload. Rebel soldiers during this time would either attempt to destroy the Mauler or prevent it from having an explosive detonation, or to flee the area. Not always succeeding, as this is a favoured tactic of players in the Empire at War game in dealing with hardened targets. Onto the actual technical specifications of the weapon itself. It would be about 6.7 metres in length. It would have a maximum speed of 90 kilometres per hour. Its main armaments would be triple medium blaster cannons, deadly in the right hands. It could carry about 95 kilograms and have 5 days worth of consumables, which means they could operate over a week behind enemy lines before needing resupply. Though the pilot, if they have any survival instincts about them, could probably forage off the land if they knew. You know what, they are Imperial soldiers, they would have had some form of basic survival training, and it did have a cargo capacity of 95 kilograms. Though it didn't have any passenger storage, it only had 1 seat for 1 pilot. Its main power plant as well being the twin iron engines with solar power as backup, though you wouldn't really be able to power the main cannons with the solar power alone, plus you'd be pretty stuffed in the dark. Onto the speculation range, I do think that, because considering that the Empire would have been still recovering from the Clone Wars at the time and the fallout from that, their heavy use of mass-produced low-cost things would have actually helped them amass amount of credits for the various projects. This was before they had really got behind the full military might and started oppressing people to a high degree, though this tank did help in the way of doing that. Despite being phased out early on in the Galactic Civil War, the TIE Mauler was the inspiration for the more advanced and more heavily successful Crusader tank, or as it is known, the TIE Crawler. That will be getting its own video at some point as well. Anyway, Lore Seekers, I hope you've enjoyed this brief little video on the TIE Mauler. If you did, please leave a like, maybe a comment with a bit of criticism and feedback, because that does help out the channel a great deal. If you do subscribe, please check the bells for notifications so you can stay up to date with the channel and any more lore or let's play videos I'm doing. And above all, take care and have a good day. I'll catch you on the next episode.